Through various interviews, the last hours of Michelle O'Connell's life in Florida can be put on a timeline. It begins with a concert here at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. It's a hot, sticky night and a packed house as the curtain is about to go up for the band Paramore. The curtain, however, is about to come down on Michelle and Jeremy's relationship. As the band plays their hit, Misery Business, Jeremy and Michelle are caught up in their own misery. Fighting has become all too common. The couple had words before, during, and after the show.
Yeah, we don't get along. We fight all the time.
Okay.
I mean, it's never bad fighting. It's always just arguing.
But having purchased seats in advance, Michelle decided to see the show and then call it quits with Jeremy.
She said, in true Michelle fashion, I paid for the tickets. I'm going. I'm breaking up with him. I'm starting my life over. And, you know, I'm more sensitive. And she said, I'll be fine.
Michelle's brother Sean was seated with the contentious couple and describes Jeremy this way.
Just kind of withdrawn, and as the night went on, you know, I was like, well, I'm here with my sister, and this guy's being like Debbie Downer over here. So I was like, hey, do you mind scooting over? If you're not going to have fun at the concert with my sister, I'm definitely going to.
This photo was taken of a subdued Banks at the show. Michelle is all smiles with her brother. Hours earlier, she had lunch with her sister.
I had met Michelle for lunch at my place, and we were talking about her looking for a new apartment, that she was breaking up with Jeremy. This was kind of a culmination. I was concerned with all the violence and how the relationship had turned.
There are whispers of verbal and physical abuse from both sides.
She said, there's gonna be a fight because he's gonna want me to go out after the concert. And I said, don't even go to the concert, because I knew Jeremy was rageful. I knew in my heart something was gonna happen.
Something is happening. Sister Chrissy begins receiving curious text messages from Michelle at the concert. Promise me one thing. Lexi will be happy and always have a good life. Promise you what? That no matter what, Lexi will always be safe and loved. What's going on? I'm scared. It seems like a mixed message. Someone saying a final goodbye, or someone who feels danger may be coming their way. As the concert's let out, Michelle alerts Chrissy, who is watching Michelle's 4-year-old daughter. I'll be there soon. It is an appointment Michelle will not keep. After the show, the couple begins to drive home. That's when Michelle informs Jeremy it's over.
Whenever she said, I'll have my stuff out by this weekend, and I said, are we breaking up? She said, yes. And I was like, all right. And, yeah, we were talking about it. And I raised my voice, she raised her voice, we argued. But when we got to the house, we were fine.
According to Jeremy, Michelle is inside, while he remains outside with 2 friends who stopped over after the concert. Michelle comes outside to retrieve a makeup bag from the car and quickly returns. After 10 to 20 minutes, the friends leave. Jeremy says he's alone in this garage.
I heard it pop, and I knew exactly what it was. Just instinct. I just said,
What happens and what does not happen in the hours that follow troubles former FBI agent Brad Garrett.
When you get to a small department, you're really talking about people you're friends with, that they're talking to. And so you need a level of objectivity in those interviews.
Objectivity that may have been lost, says Garrett, shortly after help arrived.
I think they walked in the door. Jeremy told them, fellow officer, this is a suicide. Everything stopped.
Do you just take a guy's word for it?
Of course not. The only way you find that out is to treat this scene like it's a homicide until you prove it otherwise.
That was not done in this case, according to Deborah Maynard, who was fired by the sheriff reportedly for untruthfulness. Maynard claims it was because the sheriff asked her to lie in an unrelated case, and she refused.
We were told it was a suicide. They automatically said it was a suicide, though we are trained to say every scene is a homicide until proven otherwise.
12 days later, Banks is in the sheriff's office for another interview.
When he first walks in, he's not treated like a possible suspect, but a friendly colleague.
Comfy spinny chair, not the suspect.
Jeremy blurts out an admission, revealing he's gained access to a sheriff's report on this case.
I've already read the report. I know I probably shouldn't have, but I just wanted to know what was done on the other side.
A detail the detective seems to gloss over.
You know, that's only minimal. It's only the basics. Tell me where you saw things.
How in the hell does Jeremy get to review the report before he's interviewed by his peers? This is crazy.
Some in the department would later admit to having doubts that night.
When I first walked into that room, the first thought that went through my mind was, this is not good for Jeremy.
Former Deputy Deborah Maynard is even more critical of the Sheriff's Department. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a great job on an investigation. Where would you rank this?
1.
The sheriff would later acknowledge missteps were made. Among the missteps, deputies failed to canvass the neighborhood for witnesses. Deputies failed to interview the decedent's family members. Deputies failed to isolate, interview, and photograph Banks in a structured environment. And what about Jeremy? Could he have done more? Attorney Mac McLeod represents Jeremy Banks. He busts in the room. She has shot herself. He's calling 911. Get over here. Get over here.
Right.
Wouldn't it occur to him as a deputy, take her pulse, perform life-saving measures, do everything he can to try to save her life?
I don't think his frame of mind was as a deputy at the time, as I was saying. I think his frame of mind was just completely shocked and freaked out.
But the O'Connell family says none of this makes any sense. She wasn't looking to take her life. In fact, she was looking to save a life. Her appointment book, found in the car, shows Michelle had signed up for CPR training 2 days after her death. Remember those pills found in Michelle's pocket? They were from Jeremy's prescription bottle. None were found in her system. All of the pills were accounted for. And keep in mind, she was looking for her makeup bag minutes before her death and had plans to meet up with her friend, Mindy Fox.
She was like, "You're not gonna flake on me, are you? We're still hanging out tonight, right?" And I was like, "Yes, we're still hanging out." And she's like, "Good."
While the Sheriff's Department and Michelle's family are at odds over how she died, it is undeniable Michelle was killed with Banks' service weapon. It took 4 months, but Sheriff Shore finally bows to family pressure, knowing his investigation fell short. He asks state investigators to take a fresh look at the case.